Hey, thank you for clicking this video. Just a friendly reminder, this is a clip from my previous live stream. And if you want to catch me live in action so you can join the conversation, just remember I live stream Sunday through Friday. That's 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And I'm going to post the time right here because I know some people don't want to Google. So nevertheless, go ahead and enjoy this video. So when it comes to immigration, which I found myself watching this Piers Morgan debate, and honestly, a part of me was like, we talked about immigration to a point to where it feels like at this point, if you don't understand the numbers, if you don't understand the context of the conversation, and you either just don't care or you just don't know and you don't want to educate yourself, why are we still having the conversation? Like, I found myself like, these people are just a waste of time. But of course, I do political content, so I have to endure the stupidity, the ignorance, the hatred, the bigotry, the racism. I have to endure it to make you guys content. Because once again, like I said, when they're having conversations, we know it's pointless. They all have their talking points, especially Republicans, conservatives, whatever you want to call them. They just have their talking points. And it's hard to have a conversation with just a bunch of talking points. I get it. But when we zoom out and pick out the substance that we can, trust me, it's like a needle in a haystack, then we can build an actual conversation. And that's what we're here to have now. One, when it comes to immigration, it's a lot of factors at play. And here's just a few. One, other countries, especially during COVID, when they are dangerous for its citizens, when their economy is crumbling down, people are naturally, obviously, going to flee to a better country for a better life. So trust me, people aren't just coming to America just because it's America. I'm pretty sure they would like to build their country into the vision that they want. But 9 times out of 10, which America sometimes has a part in it, their country is either too dangerous or economically falling apart, and they're seeking a better life. That's one. 2, we have a failed immigration system, which with my studies earlier today, Bush was trying to propose something, but 9/11 came through and scrapped it all. If we actually had a government that wanted to solve the problem, we could, but it's broken. And we expect people to wait 10 plus years while their country is falling apart or their life is in danger. They ain't got no 10 years to wait. So honestly, I understand that. And if we had a responsible system, maybe we wouldn't have such an influx of people coming here illegally. That's just a few. And we know Republicans don't have solutions. They just have this immigration issue to fearmonger people into voting. It's that simple. And here's some information before we get into the video. A large peer-reviewed body of research finds that immigrants, including unauthorized immigrants, are less likely to commit crimes than U.S.-born citizens. I know 1 million people have said this before. This, I'm pretty sure, has been Googled 1 million times. If you don't understand that, I don't know what to tell you. But Republicans continue to say, oh, we have a crime problem in regards to illegal or legal immigrants. We do not. I'm sorry, the data doesn't support you. That's simple. A 2024 national level analysis concluded that between 2017 and 2022, As the immigrant share of the U.S. population rose slightly, total crime rates declined, including both violent and property crimes. Can somebody tell me where the immigrant crisis is at? Because I seem to not be able to find it. Somebody tell me where it's at. But let's go ahead and listen to Officer Tatum.
We lost more.
Let's see who's on this panel. We'll take a look here. We're 10:27. Okay, right here. All right, and let me take the blockers off because we don't need it for Pierce Morgan. So this guy I'm not too familiar with. He seems pretty cool. This guy is a mega grifter. Don't care about his name. Then we got Jank, and then we got Bootlicker Tatum. Bootlicker, I will cry for Charlie Kirk, but I won't cry for my dead kids. Tatum, and you already know it's going to be some ignorant on the highest level possible. Let's take a listen. All right.
Yeah, first of all, you're all racist, and I cancel all of you. Okay, so no, nobody's talking about that anymore. Okay. So listen, there's two different issues on immigration in America. First is, are we allowing too many immigrants in? So let me give you some context on that. For the first time since the 1960s, the number of foreign-born people in America has gone down by 1 million people. And by the way, you can say, hey, the American people kind of like that. That's why they like that Trump, stopped the people coming in from the border. And that's a fair point, right? But are we in some sort of immigrant emergency here in America? No, the number of immigrants are going down, not up. And further context, so about 15% of Americans are foreign born. If that seems like a high number to you, it's much higher in other countries, 22% in Canada, 29% in Switzerland, 30% in Australia. So we don't have some sort of immigration emergency in that sense here. So that context is super important. Nevertheless, I understand that people are wary of change, and sometimes change doesn't bring positive things, right? Or it might bring a lot of positive stuff, but has some negative consequences. So we have to make rational decisions here. Part of the problem, Piers, is that it leads to the second issue, which is that people want you to look at immigrants and say that's the real problem. And the reason they're doing that is because they don't want you to look up. So the guy coming in across the border in America, just crossed the Rio Grande, doesn't have any money, doesn't have any power. He didn't rig the system against you. The donor class in America did. And they desperately don't want you to know that, so they want you to get angry at immigrants instead. So I think the number one source of discontent here in the U.S., and I would bet that it's the same in the U.K., is not the raw numbers. It's that we feel that our government isn't delivering for us. So, the right wing says America first. These days on the Young Turks, we say Americans first. It's because we never get anything. And you see, it's not like these immigrants that are, for example, in Chicago, where people were complaining about it, including, by the way, black and brown communities in Chicago, right? And they were getting a certain stipend, and the stipend's not huge or anything, but as a resident of Chicago, they were looking at that and thinking, I'm not getting anything. And now all of a sudden, these guys are getting something. It's not much, but it's something. So why do I never get anything? And the real answer to that, of course, has nothing to do with immigrants. It has to do with the richest people in the country, and mainly corporate rule that has decided that they're going to extract all of our wealth in the form of $35 billion in oil subsidies, endless wars that enrich the defense contractors, and by the way, create waves of new immigrants as unrest in those countries occur. Yes. So if you really want to fix these problems, you have to look at the donors and the people in power, the people setting the rules, rather than just hating on new immigrants that came in.
Now, it'd be crazy. Okay, call me crazy, but it would be insane if people who disagree with Cenk would be like, you know what? Let's talk about your numbers. Let's talk about what you just said, okay? And argue that. Because I agree with Cenk, but what would you argue about what he just said? It doesn't make sense. Yes, the people in other examples of immigrants that went into Chicago, New York, and I forget the other places, they were given money by the government. crumbs, not millions of dollars. They didn't go buy a mansion in a Lamborghini in Beverly Hills. No, they were giving crumbs, a few $1,000s. If that was given to an American, just, okay, here's $1,000, that'll help them for a month. And then they'll be right back struggling. So it wasn't like, liberation of any sort. Okay, it was crumbs compared to how people are living. And what the Republican Party does, which I give them credit, like, you got to be a hateful person to get this creative. They put American citizens who are once again receiving breadcrumbs from our government because they service capitalism and other wealthy people while they give us crumbs and expect us to be happy. Then they tell us who are receiving crumbs, hey, look at the immigrants over there. You see the crumbs they got? Those crumbs belong to you. And then those without a brain, like the scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz, are like, oh my God, you're right. I deserve those crumbs. Let me now hate them. What are you doing? If you don't understand the system that they have created for you to live in, you're going to hate another poor person just like you. You're going to continue to hate the person that is in the worst conditions than you are. Now you're fighting over breadcrumbs. Why? I'm sorry, I'm not fighting over breadcrumbs. I want the whole loaf of bread. I want the bakery at this point. And who's gatekeeping the bread? Yes, the government, the millionaires, the billionaires, the well-off. They're gatekeeping that while Republicans is playing you to fight for crumbs. I'm sorry, can't happen like that.
Power, the people setting the rules, rather than just hating on new immigrants that came in.
Officer Tatum, one of the big flashpoints in the UK, as I mentioned, these small boats just coming in all the time on the southern border with illegal immigrants pouring in. And then once they get there, the government in the UK feeling obliged to house them, and they're putting them up often in rather nice hotels. And the flashpoint there is, why are these asylum seekers, many of them, they all claim to be, but they're not all legitimate asylum seekers. For example, a year and a half ago, they discovered 15,000 of the year total number who come in on the small boats actually turned out to be young, economic, male Albanians from Albania, which is not a war-torn country. So they weren't genuine asylum seekers. They were economic migrants seeking a better life for themselves. Nothing wrong with that, but they needed a proper process of going through the legal way of getting in. So there's a lot of anger that's been building up by people living through a cost of living crisis, can't afford to feed their kids. Real problem with public services as the UK population continues to rise. 50 million back in the 50s, nearly 70 million now. Crumbling health service because it can't cope with the extra volume of people. Education, all the public services creaking at the seams. And then they have this constant flashpoint of these people coming in illegally and seemingly in many cases being treated better than people already in the country who are there perfectly legally. That's been causing a lot of the anger, which is now erupting in places around the country.
If you feel that illegal immigrants who get put into a nice hotel, which I want to know what nice is, because I guarantee you Pierce Morgan wouldn't stay at these hotels. They might be nicer than, Motel 6. But I'm pretty sure it's not a hotel where you got to spend thousands upon thousands a night. I'm pretty sure Pierce wouldn't be staying at these quote unquote nice hotels. That's number one. Number two, if that is the bar for something nice, like I said, there's a deeper issue. If your citizens is looking at that and say, hey, they're being treated better than us, that government is treating their citizens like trash. That is the bigger problem. Fix that problem, then maybe you might be able to fix the immigrant problem. I'm just saying. But of course, I'm the crazy one. Got you.
Yeah, it's the same thing that's happening in the United States of America. It's a lot to unpack here. The government is a fraudulent organization when it comes to this illegal immigration stuff, and most of it is from the Democrat Party.
Oh,
they legitimately, or I wasn't legitimate, but they literally opened up the border and allowed every illegal person that they can possibly find to allow them to come into our country, to flood our cities so they can win elections forever. This is exactly what they did. They don't give a flying flip
and explain
about it.
He said the Democratic Party. I haven't heard this one, okay? I didn't even bother even looking this up because it's so, I was going to say a word, I get in trouble by YouTube. It is so outrageously stupid on what's coming out of his boot-licking lips. The Democratic Party let in every illegal immigrant they can find, but statistically, Joe Biden was on the average deporting around 300 plus people a day. Google that. Joe Biden was deporting over 300 people a day. Kamala Harris was on TV saying, hey, do not come to the country. If you're coming here illegally, please do not come to the country. She said that on multiple occasions, but yet they're just trying to let people, okay, that doesn't make sense. How about this? Obama named the deporter in chief. On the average, I think they said 400 to 500 people a day. You don't get that type of title for no reason. What is this idiot talking about here? Can somebody get the boot out of his, tell him he got a little brown on his nose and tell him to come back to reality? What are you talking about, Tatum? I'm not going to call you an officer. No, I'm sorry. You don't, you don't even get that. Tatum, what are you talking about? But of course, when you're a Republican, you don't have to back anything with facts. You just got to just run your big old mouth and say whatever comes to mind. These idiots, bro.
Can win elections forever. This is exactly what they did. They don't give a flying flip.
And explain, Officer Tatum, just explain why that would help the Democrats win elections.
Well, when you get an influx of people into certain areas and then you give them amnesty, which is the ultimate plan, now you have more electoral college votes. Now you have more Congress representation. All of those things they can leverage. Now,
why would you assume they don't want to vote Democrat though?
Well, let me explain. If you get a bunch of people who have no hope from the country that they came from, and they're believing they come to America, which is utopia, they get all this free stuff, they get all the government funding, and then when you give them amnesty, when you say you are a citizen, you can now stay here. We support you. Who do you think they're going to vote for? The party that does that for them.
Where's the data on that? Because I tried to look for it. Like, where is the data that says if the Democratic Party allowed illegal immigrants to come in and they give them free citizenship, that they are going to be loyal to that party? Can somebody in the chat tell me where that data is? Because I missed it. Oh, but of course not. Of course not. Now let's add that majority of people that come from these other countries, 9 times out of 10, and I met a few of them, they are naturally conservative when it comes to their policies and things that they believe in. Their political perspective is usually conservative. I'm just saying. I met a lot of Mexican and Hispanic homies. They're normally naturally conservative. I'm just confused here. Where are we pulling this out at? I know where we're pulling it straight out of his ass. But I'm just saying, Jen just spent like 5 minutes giving you data, giving you facts. And this guy's like, oh, the Democratic Party is just trying to take over the country. Come on.
They've done the same thing to black people in this country. They manipulated the black vote by giving them handouts and different things like that. And now they secured the black vote. That's why black people vote unanimously for Democrats, even though Democrats have done nothing for black people in this country. They plan to do the same thing for illegal aliens. They're losing some of the minority votes. So now they have a new demographic. And also, they don't give a F about these people coming over here. Because if they did, they would shut the border down and have them come through a legal process. Because people are getting raped. Children are getting sex trafficked. These people, the cartel, are making money. Coyotes are.
Okay, crazy. Let's tackle point by point. One, government giving people handouts. Who benefits from these government subsidies here in America. Majority, hey, say it with me, white folks. Yeah, so what are you talking about? I don't know. What are you talking about? And second, when it comes to amnesty, here's some information. Under the Immigration Reform and Control Act of 1986, signed by Reagan. Last time I checked, he was a Republican, okay? I mean, unless something changed, okay? Let me know. November 6, 1968, around 2.7 to 3 million undocumented immigrants who have been living in the U.S. since January 1st, 1982 or earlier were granted permanent resident status, which was the largest in U.S. history. Can somebody tell Tatum that? I mean, because if Democrats just wanted to do it, wouldn't they just do it when they had Joe Biden or Obama? But if this is their tactic, but they're too cowardly to do it, then what's the point? Oh my goodness. Hey, this guy.
These people, the cartel, are making money. Coyotes are escorting these people through the desert and leaving them to die. So it's a shame that our government is doing this. And it's not just a minor inconvenience for the American people. We're talking billions of taxpayer dollars spent on housing these people. And they're not just coming over here for a better life. They're unassimilated. They do not want to be a part of America. They want to do their own thing. Their culture is very different than American culture. They're raping people and doing a lot of other things. Now, let me clarify this because I don't want people to take it out of context. It's not every illegal alien that's doing this, but it is enough to be an issue.
Where does the data support that? Bro, this dude needs, man, okay, I'm not going to say don't want to get in trouble. Do not want to get in trouble. But this guy, when is the Roosters going to come home for this guy? That's all I'm going to say. Where's the data that supports that? Because I just gave you the data at the beginning of this video. What are we talking about here? What are we really doing here? I want to know. And if you want to talk about a government being responsible, Trump shutting down the border is not a solution. That is not immigration reform. What ideas, what policies, what legislation does he have to truly fix it if you want people to come in here the right way? What is the solution? Oh, that's right. There is no solution. You guys don't care about that. It's just a talking point. My goodness, man, these people.
It's not every illegal alien that's doing this, but it is enough to be an issue. And we shouldn't even have an issue with this because if you came here illegally, you shouldn't be here in the first place. I don't care if your grandma, nana, whoever it is, built a life here. You built it on illegal terms. That's like me breaking in your house, Pierce, and I'm living there. And all of a sudden I start cooking in your house and I have a kid and now my kid live in your house. Somehow I'm afforded all of the amenities that you've built. No, that don't work like that.
Yeah, it don't work like that because Pierce's house is not a government, you idiot. What are you doing? People don't seek asylum at Pierce's house, dummy. My God, I swear, man, like stupidity is like fighting words to me. Being that level of ignorant makes me want to, it upsets me, okay? I'm sorry. Just the level of dishonestness, the level of dumbassness is so thick with this guy here. It is crazy. But what did he say?
You built it on illegal terms.
Oh, yeah. Built it on illegal terms. And I'm going to leave you with this here, okay? He's so animated about that. Illegals are coming into a land that doesn't belong to them and now is trying to quote unquote take it over. It is crazy because the same white folks that he's kissing ass to has the same history of doing that to people who were here first. Is he that animated about how Christopher Columbus colonized and slaughtered A whole group of people that were here first kicked out these same Hispanic homies that were here first and pushed them down, took their land. Is he upset about that? Maybe I need to look through his YouTube catalog and see if he covered that. Because I'm confused here. Because the same people that you're defending, the same people ass that you're kissing, their ancestors did exactly what you're talking about. But they actually murdered people. They actually kicked people out of their land. And I'm talking about the murder rate was high. It was just like a few hundred people. It was high. And most of it was because of their nasty hygiene. They didn't know how to wash their behind. So, hey, Mr. Tatum, please shut the hell up forever. Please do us a favor. That's simple.
Let's see how you do under pressure. I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra.